Okay, well, today we're going to do a fascinating video on something that recently occurred in the last little while. Now, this singer, songwriter, rapper, comedian, personality guy, I never even knew existed until a couple days ago. Not a couple days ago, but a couple weeks ago or whatever happened, about 2 weeks, a week, 2 weeks, yeah. But I wanted to go over the Oliver Tree situation just because it is kind of a fascinating little story. And it really goes to show that, you know, you can have it all in this life, and just like that, it's all gone. Isn't that the truth? So, yeah, so this singer, songwriter, rapper, I think he's like a DJ EDM music guy because his whole shtick seems to be making these very drab, very melancholic EDM songs that go viral on like TikTok and stuff. So it makes sense that I've never heard of the guy. I mean, I'm a big fan of electronic music, but I'd literally never heard of him before, and I'm kind of out of that mainstream scene anyway. It really doesn't ignite any enjoyment out of me when you're seeing these songs, on TikTok and all the weirdness that goes along with it. And he's kind of like a influencer culture, obnoxious, kind of I'm there. He doesn't actually seem like that bad of a dude now that his personality's kind of been unraveled. But, he's kind of like viral for things like this, bowl cut and that kind of thing. And, just kind of becoming famous for no apparent reason. And that's kind of like the thing in our society, isn't it? So basically, he died recently, a couple weeks ago, I believe. And the overall situation was he was like in Rio de Janeiro, or he was in Brazil or something. Yeah, Brazil. And yeah, he just got in a helicopter crash and just they basically vaporized on landing. So here's pictures of the crash. Actually, strangely enough, doesn't look too bad, but you can imagine the metal just instantly like just crushed him. Um, Argentine YouTuber personality killed in Brazil crash. So I mean, it's a situation where they just kind of crashed in the sky, and it's like pretty ironic because recently there was also like just this lady just like thrown off a bridge in South America, and they forgot to try her face. So it's like there is a lesson to be learned here. It's like there is seriously a lesson. It's like the lesson is ultimately, you don't want to just go take sketchy helicopter rides in Rio de Janeiro. Probably not the greatest idea, no matter how rich and famous you are. Now, famously, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash as well. Helicopters, I would imagine, are quite dangerous, although they get to and fro all the time. News helicopters, celebrities, the rich and famous carting around. Of course, military. So helicopters work. I mean, like they're not that like it's not like every single time they go up in the air they crash. But part of me can't help but think that going to South America and look at the background. It's a third world ish country. Hiring a local helicopter and being like, "Yay, we're living the high life," probably wasn't the best idea. And that's an important lesson too, because it's like the guy was obviously had like a fun, be yourself, run and jump around. God, look at that picture. Type of motif about him. But do you really want to go and do that kind of thing? I don't know. It's a strange situation and kind of just a random dealio. But yeah, I mean, live the fast life and it can be over very quickly because yeah, I mean, this guy had his entire life. Oh God, look at that. What is that? So he was kind of had this like freaky deaky, crazy, loopy, thing about him, and lo and behold, he died. It was the general idea that you don't want to do this. You don't want to go out and do these kinds of things. And it's like he's extremely popular. I mean, look at his YouTube here, 547. Life goes on, 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 on. And I've listened to this out of some pure curiosities, just to see, just to understand what this guy was all about. And this song is very icky. This Miss You. It's very melancholic. It's very depressing. His music is very, just very, modern, silly. Oh, it's just awful. I hated this. I hate this song with a passion. But 440 million views. I mean, like, people are obviously gonna like this stuff. This crap. And nothing against him as an artist. If you want to make what you want to make, go out and make it. But it just boggles the mind how this guy got famous like he did. And it's just a very strange situation. And lo and behold, all his most popular music came out 5 years ago. So he's basically been mega ultra super famous for the last 5 years. So he had literally just gotten started, and he had his entire life ahead of him. you know 20, 30, 40 years of just being famous and being rich and being Oliver Tree, and doing whatever he deemed to do. And it's kind of like one of those stories that's just it's just weird. And yeah, it's kind of like, if the guy could ever see it. Now there is a very creepy situation. Because if you, where's the helicopter one? There's essentially a music video of his that basically predicts his death, and it's kind of weird. Let's see if we can find it here. It's very prophetic. Here we go. Okay, so we don't want to get copyright struck, so let's just pause it through here. Okay. Okay, so essentially, he's this video, which has 100, 5 million, hundreds of thousands of things, had some very prophetic stuff in it. Where is it? Yeah, it's about his death. It's about his hope he's happy on my gravestone. He's surrounded by planes and helicopters, and he's spinning around this scene. People have pointed out this scene where he walks up this this stairway surrounded by two helicopters. Quite strange. Quite strange. You're gonna say that that's probably a little bit weird. But mostly the worst one is, where is it? Where is it? It's around here somewhere. The one of the planes has a sequence, a 6 on it. I don't want to play this because we will most certainly get copyright struck by doing this. At any rate, there in this video, there's a part when there's a 6 on one of these planes, and he's like looking at. There we go. Oh wait, no, you can't see it. Anyways, in this video, if you care to see it, has a part where there's a 6 on one of the planes. 6 people died, 6 months. Like it's pretty. This Flowers song is very prophetic. It's very strange. It leaves you with a very odd feeling inside that such a thing occurred. So you're like, yeah, I mean, this is very strange. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of like the life of this guy, and it's like, he's this wild, crazy, zany dude, and he just died out of nowhere. It's really like uh, uh the sign of the strangeness of today's world, isn't it? It's just a very strange situation. Strange person, strange times, strange way to go. And he was like on the start of a like massive world tour, so he was just about to travel the world and be a superstar. I think he'd kind of been doing that, but in general, what we're looking at is just like a man. He just stayed home and played video games, you know what I mean? And there's all kinds of, things where people always say this, they're always like, live life to the fullest, go out and be adventurous. Well, venture can get you killed. Every single person who died on Everest was once a very motivated person. Plenty of people. It costs like 60 grand to 100 grand to even like if you were to come from like a North America or Europe, it's going to cost like 50 to 100 grand for you to make that journey. So everybody who had died on Everest, and how many people have died on Everest over the time, were rich, successful, adventurous, wanting to do more. So I guess the lesson here, like with Oliver Tree, is essentially like, you know, be careful what you wish for. Because if you want to live life to the fullest, then go out and be weird and crazy and zany and take all these risks, you can lose the rest of your life. The guy was, 25 when he became famous, and he only got to live 7 years of those times. He had his whole life ahead of him with his family, with his people. He all these people have been coming out of the woodwork just saying, what a person he was. And yeah, I mean, it's the truth of today is that yes, you can go out and be, crazy, zany, have a good time and do whatever you want to do, but going and flying a helicopter in Brazil with some questionable pilots probably is not the best idea, honestly. Like, it really isn't. And part of me, you would say, and Post Malone, is those kinds of people. They have this air about them where they just this kind of almost arrogance of I'm living life and you're not, kind of. And going out and flying helicopters and doing jet skis and all this crazy stuff that you want to do because you think that's living life. End up like Oliver Tree, who could have had decades of decadence and riches and life to live, and now he's just gone. You know what I mean? So it is a very captivating story. It's a very important story. It's a very poignant story. Um, and yeah, I mean, what more is there to say on it? Really, it kind of is just like, he just kind of is gone, and he's gone forever. And if he had just, chilled at a restaurant, there was a thing about how a little bit of context to what I'm talking about here is that there was a video posted like before he was going to go on this helicopter trip, like the day before or something, the morning before. And he's just like, guys, guess what? We're going to go ride a helicopter. It's like, we're going to do this. It's going to be crazy. Whoa, streaming, doing that stuff. He could have just said, you know what? Not feeling this. Let's just go hang out at a restaurant or a bar or something. Sign some autographs and, you know what I mean? So it's like, careful what you wish for in this life, because there are turns that you can take that will determine everything. And if you take the wrong turn, much along the lines of doing this, you're gone. You're dead. So yeah, I mean, that's essentially the story of Oliver Tree. I mean, he didn't seem like an overly bad person. He was pretty cringe, super modern, modern art student vibe. You had KSI pretending to like him, of course, because he's a part of the rich and famous clubs. Look at the fucking smile on that guy. He looks like a goddamn fucking super villain. He looks like the fucking Riddler, Black Riddler or something. But I mean, anyways, it's pointing to a higher society of people, and he was like, what was his net worth? He was worth a lot of money. I mean, like he was worth a lot of fucking of money. It says that he's worth about 4 million, but net worth is not the same as a lot of people think. Net worth has a lot to do with their valuations and stupid stuff like that. The guy was loaded. He had millions of dollars coming out of his ears because of massive fame and concerts and sponsorship deals and all this stuff. So 4 million. He was a 10 millionaire at the time of his death. The whole world at his oyster. And it's kind of all over for him. And see, even Diplo, doing this here, it's like they're out. Let's go be wild and live life. And it's like you can die that way by doing that. You know what I mean? Like let's go play with lions in Africa savannah. Like we're living life to the fullest, and look what happens. There's similar veins when big game hunters go hunting, and it's like, and they get killed by like a wildebeest or something. It's like, that you could have just not done that, and you would have lived life. Like people put such an emphasis on going out and being dangerous, living dangerous lives, but you don't get to live life if you're dead. So I mean, it's an important lesson to everyone of so how he lived, and he thought that by going out and being wild and doing all this dangerous stuff and stunts and all this craziness, it's like that it was his downfall. That was what ended him, and he had the rest of his life that he could have enjoyed, and now he can't because he chose to make these decisions and was a part of this lifestyle of doing dangerous things. What's this? Hi, F and Penny. Trigger warnings and death for your distraction. News of Oliver's Tree passing has hit the industry of a major shock. You'll be missed. Singer passed away. Blah blah blah. I'll be talking to no one who's naming it. A few weeks before his untimely passing at the Zach Lang, the singer candidly discussed that he had made at the time and revealed that none of his family members would receive any of his money at the passing. This really rubbed me the wrong way. This is like, family is all you got in this life, really, when you think about it. And even that sometimes is not enough. And, he's like, all my money is going to go to artists in LA, not my family. So the guy obviously had resentment for his other, people. He mentioned in the same interview that the organization meant to collect all the money and funds that came from his work and added, when I die, my art will continue to have residuals and probably be worth more than it is now. People will finally appreciate my stupid videos being stupid songs. That's when people appreciate you, when you're not there anymore. I basically a committee set up when I pass, and I do it when I plan on live. Basically, everyone will vote where the money goes each year. So it's very shady, kind of, screw my family and give all my money to a bunch of college art students. Yay, not a very good one, Oliver Tree. But yeah, I mean, so that's the story. That's the story of Oliver Tree. It doesn't continue, and he is just a guy who passed away. And was part of that kind of group of singer, songwriter, electric, stuntmen who just go out of their way to be wild and crazy and living their lives, and look what happens. And that's an important lesson to everyone, is that, like, if you want to be safe in this life, be safe, because if you want to go out and be wild and crazy, you could lose it all in an instant, and it's never going to. Um, and people in other countries will take advantage of you. And I can't speak for exactly what happened, but his booking agent going out and trying to get a helicopter for them to fly around in Rio de Janeiro and drink martinis. Probably didn't pick the most reputable source, and look what happened. And it's like, yeah, fart is right. Darn, if he is in the afterlife, he's definitely sitting in there going, I wish I never got in that damn helicopter. I had it all. Oh, it crashed into a whole bunch of cars too. That's crazy. Helicopters are nuts. Like the fact that they work and that can all just, if something goes wrong, we played video games with how hard it is for helicopters. Even going up in planes, but I would say commercial jet planes are like, have like a 99.99% success rate or whatever. So always flying everywhere in the world. But helicopters are a little bit more, especially when you get a pilot's. Ugh, it's not what I thought it was it? But anyways, yeah, this is the story. Uh, he's gone. He's done. And yeah, it's an important lesson for people. Careful what you wish for, because if you go out trying to live life, you could end up losing it.